This is Mallikarjun from AAA Department of St. Peter's Engineering College. In the today's class, we are discussing about extension range of meters. Extension range of meters, that is how to extend the range of an ammeter and how to extend the range of an voltmeter. That is, we are going to discuss about what material or what devices or what things are used to extend the range of a normal voltmeter or ammeter. Before going to discuss about this, I will give you an example regarding this extension range. Fine. Let me say that there is an ammeter. There is an ammeter, and the range of the ammeter is it can measure up to 5 amps. That is, the highest value or the full scale deflection value of this particular ammeter is 5 amps, and the minimum reading is considered as 0 amps. And minimum reading is considered as 0 amps. Suppose I want to use the same ammeter for measuring 6 amps as my reading, for measuring 6 amperes, but it is not possible by using this ammeter. Why? Because the range of this ammeter is it can read up to only 5 amps, but I want to use this to read the value as 6 amps in my experiment. So in order to use the same device for measuring 6 amps, I am going to use this extension range of meters. I am going to use this extension range of meters. Extension range of meters. Similarly, I can do for voltmeter also. Suppose the range of the voltmeter is 0 to 5 volts. If I want to use this 5 volts voltmeter as a 6 volts, then I need to extend the range of this voltmeter. So in order to extend the range of an ammeter or voltmeter, what are the different procedures you need to follow and what values you need to calculate are the important factors regarding this extension range here. Regarding this extension range. Now we will go for the first topic, that is extension range of ammeter. Extension range of ammeter. Extension range of ammeter. Now I am going to extend the range of an ammeter as per the previous example. That is, if it is a full scale deflection value is 5 amps, I want to use this 5 amps meter to read 6 amps. To read 6 amps. So now I am going to, our topic is regarding extension range of ammeter. The first point regarding this extension range of ammeter is in order to extend the range of an ammeter, I need to use shunt. I need to use a shunt, where shunt is an element, which should have low resistance, low temperature coefficient, it should be a thick wire, and it should be made up of a manganese. I am discussing here about the properties of a shunt element. That is, in order to extend the range of an ammeter, I am using a shunt element here. So if I want to use that shunt element, it should need to follow some properties. The first basic property is whatever the element I am choosing as a shunt, it should have low resistance, it should have low temperature coefficient, and the thickness of that material what I am using as a shunt element should be somewhat high, and I am using the material as manganese for making that resistance or making that shunt element here. Now I am going to give the structure of the extension range of ammeter. So first I am taking an ammeter. Here, and in order to extend the range of this ammeter, I need to use a shunt element, and the shunt element should be connected in parallel with the meter. Here. In order to extend the range of this ammeter, I am using a shunt element, and how the connection should be, the shunt element should be connected always parallel with the meter, always parallel with the meter, for which I am going to extend the range, for which I am going to extend the range here. Let me say that current flowing in this ammeter is considered as IA, and current flowing in this shunt element is given as IS. The resistance offered by the shunt element is RS. Internal resistance offered by the ammeter, let it be RA, and the total current flowing into this circuit is given as I, and flowing out of the circuit is also considered as I, because according to the principle of KCL, current centering should be equal to current leaving. Let me say that voltage drop across the shunt element is given as Vs, and voltage drop across the ammeter is given as TA. This is the general structural representation or circuit diagram of extension range of ammeter by using shunt element. What is the first quality? I need to use a shunt element to extend the range of an ammeter, and how the connection should be? It should be connected always in parallel with the ammeter. It should be connected always in parallel with the ammeter, and I have given the directions of current and what are the voltage drops across the shunt element and ammeter in this diagram. Now by using this structure, I am going to increase or extend the range of an ammeter here. Now by seeing this diagram, by applying KCL at this particular point, what is the equation you will get? IE equal to sum of current entering equal to sum of current leaving. That is IE equal to IA plus IS. From this equation, I am writing the value of IS as I minus IA. Let me say that this is equation number 1. This is equation number 1. Now I am going to use one more expression. You see here, the voltage drop across the ammeter and voltage drop across the shunt element will be always equal. Why? Because those two are connected parallel at same potential drops. Those two are connected parallel at same potential drop. So I will get one more equation, that is, as they are connected in parallel, voltage drop across both the elements will be same. Hence, VA will be equal to VS. VA will be equal to VS, where VA is the voltage drop across the ammeter and VS is the voltage drop across the shunt element what I have connected in the circuit. Now, according to Ohm's law, VA can be written as IA into RA, and VS can be written as IS into RS. What is my aim is that I want to measure the value of shunt resistance. I want to measure the value of resistance offered by the shunt element, that is nothing but RS. So from this equation, I can write the value of RS as IA into RA by IS. Now from equation 1, what is the value of IS? It can be taken as IA RA by I minus IA. I minus IA since equation 1. Now we will move to the further step. Here in calculating the value of shunt resistance, where the value of RS is equal to RA by I minus IA by IA. Just I am rewriting the expression in order to calculate the value of multiplying factor of this circuit. I am rewriting the equation again, RA by I by IA minus 1, and the final expression can be written as RS equal to RA by N minus 1. This is the expression which is used to measure the resistance offered by the shunt element, which is used in extension range of ammeter. Where the value of N is taken as I by IA. And this is called as multiplying factor. And this N is called as multiplying factor, where it is taken as ratio of full scale deflection value of the meter by measured value of current, where n is considered as what? It is considered as multiplying factor. It is considered as what? Multiplying factor, which can be defined as the ratio of measured value, to the full scale deflection value. The ratio of measured value of current to the full scale deflection value of the current is considered as multiplying factor of the given circuit. Multiplying factor of the given circuit. This is the method how to extend the range of an ammeter, and what are the properties you need to have if I want to use this element as an shunt element here, and how to calculate the shunt resistance by using this method or by using this circuit. These are the things what we have discussed regarding extension range of ammeter, and the important thing is multiplying factor, where the multiplying factor is defined as what? Ratio of measured value of current to the full scale deflection value of the meter, This is regarding extension range of ammeter. This is regarding what? Extension range of ammeter. Now we will discuss about extension range of voltmeter. Now we will discuss about extension range of voltmeter. Extension range of voltmeter. Extension range of voltmeter. Similar to that of an ammeter, if I want to extend the range of an voltmeter, I will give an example here. Let me take an voltmeter where the range of voltmeter is considered as 0 to 5 volts. Where the range of the voltmeter is considered was 0 to 5 volts. I want to use this 5 volts voltmeter to read how much? 6 volts. It is impossible if I use the same meter directly in an experiment to read the 6 volts by using this 5 volts meter. It's impossible. So, if I want to use the same 5 volts meter to read 6 volts, I need to extend the range of this voltmeter. I need to extend the range of an voltmeter. In order to extend the range of an voltmeter, I need to use series multipliers. Or else it can be called as a series element. Or else it can also be called as what? Series element. Now coming to the properties of this series multiplier or series element. It should have high resistance. That is, the element or the multiplier what I am using to extend the range of an voltmeter in this circuit should offer high resistance. And it should be low temperature coefficient. And third property is it should be thin wire. It should be a thin wire, and it should be made up of a manganese. That is, these are the properties of an series element what I am going to use to increase the range of an voltmeter here. That is, in order to increase the range or extend the range of an voltmeter, I need to use series multipliers, and the properties what series multiplier should have is it should offer high resistance, it should be a low temperature coefficient material, it should be of a thin wire, and finally it should be made up of a manganese. Now let us see the circuit diagram of an extension range of an voltmeter. Here I am using a voltmeter, and in order to extend the range of an voltmeter, I am using a series multiplier. Let the resistance offered by this series multiplier be Rm. Internal resistance offered by the voltmeter be Rv. Current flowing in the circuit is taken as I, and the current flowing in this circuit is also taken as I. And let us say that is nothing but resistance is considered as Vm and this voltmeter is considered as Vv. Voltmeter is considered as Vv. This is the general circuit diagram representation in order to extend the range of an voltmeter, and this is nothing but my series multiplier. And this is nothing but my series multiplier. In order to extend the range of a voltmeter, I need to connect the multiplier or series multiplier in series with the voltmeter. In series with the voltmeter. Now, by following the laws of KCL, KVL and Ohm's law, I am going to derive the expression for resistance offered by a series multiplier, that is nothing but Rm. Resistance offered by the series multiplier, that is nothing but what? Rm. Before going to discuss about that, I am going to use KVL. By using that, the expression offered for this circuit is V equal to Vm plus Vv, and from this equation the expression for Vm is considered as what? V minus Vv. Let me say that this is equation number 1. This is equation number 1, where the sum of voltage of across each element is considered as total voltage what is applied to the circuit. Total voltage what is applied to the circuit. Now we will go for the another expression. Now we will go for the another expression, that is Rm by Rv is equal to Vm by Vv. That is nothing but Im into Rm by IV into Rv. This is the general explanation what I got with respect to the potential drop across each element what is present in that. But I know that what is the value of Vm from the previous expression? V minus Vv by Vv. From this expression what is the value I will get? V by Vv minus 1, that is Rm by Rv. So what is the expression I need to calculate in case of this voltmeter? I need to calculate the resistance offered by the series multiplier here. That is, I want to calculate the value of Rm. So from the above expression, the value of Rm is considered as what? Rv into V by Vv minus 1. V by Vv minus 1. The same expression can be rewritten as Rv into n minus 1. Rv into n minus 1. Here Rm is the resistance offered by the series multiplier. Rv is the internal resistance of the voltmeter what I have connected, and n is considered as a multiplying factor. And n is considered as a multiplying factor, where the value of n is taken as what? Ratio of voltage measured. Ratio of voltage measured to the full scale deflection value of the meter. To the full scale deflection value of the meter. Now I am going to discuss about the extension range of voltmeter again. In order to extend the range of this voltmeter, I need to use what? Series multiplier. And what are the properties it should have? It should offer high resistance, low temperature coefficient, and the material should be of a thin wire which is made up of a manganese. These are the properties which should offered by the series multiplier. This is the circuit diagram, and these are the expression, and this is the final expression which gives you the value of resistance offered by the series multiplier. Resistance offered by the series multiplier, and this is the expression for multiplying factor. And this is the expression for multiplying factor. This is regarding extension range of voltmeter. This is regarding what? Extension range of voltmeter. Now we have discussed about what? How to extend the range of an voltmeter and how to extend the range of an ammeter. And how to extend the range of an ammeter here. So I am giving you a brief note now. In order to extend the range of an ammeter, I need to use a shunt element. And in order to extend the range of an voltmeter, I need to use a series multiplier. I need to use a series multiplier. Now we will move into the next topic, that is electrostatic voltmeters. Electrostatic electrostatic voltmeters. Electrostatic voltmeters. Electrostatic voltmeters. Before going to discuss about this topic, what is the general function of an voltmeter? It is used to measure the voltage. It is used to measure the voltage, and depending upon the full scale deflection value or depending upon the range of that voltmeter, I can read the voltmeter up to 5 volts or 10 volts or 20 volts, 30 volts, 230, depending upon the range. Depending upon the range. But the specific function of electrostatic voltmeters is that it is mainly used to measure high voltages. It is mainly used to measure high voltage. That is, electrostatic voltmeter is specially designed in order to measure the high voltages only. In order to measure high voltages only, and it has some range which is given as 100 volts to 230 volts kV. So, what is the specific thing to have an electrostatic voltmeters here? It is used only to measure what? High voltages. Only to measure what? High voltages. Now, how to produce or how to measure the value of high voltages by using this instrument? It has a circuit diagram where the circuit diagram consists of two plates. It consists of two plates which are separated by a distance x. Let me name the plates. This is nothing but plate A, and let me name the second plate as plate B. Plate B, and I am using a spring here, You see here spring is connected to only one plate, that is nothing but plate number B here. So now plate A is called as a fixed plate. Plate A is called as what? Fixed plate, and plate B is called as a moving plate. Why? Because the plate B is one of the end of plate B is connected to what? Spring. One of the end of plate B is connected to what? Spring. What is the use of a spring is that in order to produce a controlling force, in order to produce a controlling torque, I am going to use a spring in case of a plate B here. Now I am giving supply to these both the plates. I am giving some amount of voltage to this, that is nothing but I am connecting a battery. What is the main reason to connect these two plates to battery? Is nothing but in order to develop the charge across each plate. In order to develop or produce the charge across each plate, as positive is connected to plate A, this plate will be completely a positively charged plate after certain period of time. Similarly, this plate will behave as a negatively charged. This plate will be considered as what? Negatively charged plates. Now, in order to produce a deflection force, I am using electrostatic field. That is static electric field in case of electrostatic voltmeters. As we have already discussed, if I want to measure a reading by using any meters, either it may be ammeter, voltmeter, wattmeter, it may be an electrostatic voltmeters. Three types of forces will play a major role. The first one is deflection force. So, in order to produce that deflection force in case of an electrostatic voltmeters, I am using static electric field. I am using what? Static electric field, which is produced by the effect of capacitance. In case of an electrostatic voltmeters. What is used to produce deflection force here? Static electric field. And the general expression for force which is produced by using static electric field in case of electrostatic voltmeters is given as F equal to half CV square. F equal to what? half CV square. Why? Because here the capacitance effect is used in order to develop what? In order to develop or produce what? Deflection force. So what is the force developed by using a capacitance effect? The general expression is given as what? Half CV square, where C is nothing but capacitance and V is nothing but what? Voltage. This is the expression for deflection force. So in order to get the expression for deflection torque, that is nothing but TD. That is nothing but TD. It is given as half V square into dC by dx. Half V square into dC by dx. Why? What is the meaning? Why I am reading the equation for deflection torque as like this, that is half into V square into, and changing the value of capacitance with respect to the displacement here. Why? Because torque developed is given as what? F into dx. Is given as what? F into dx, where F is nothing but force and dx is nothing but change in displacement. So when there is a small change in the displacement between the two plates what are connected here, that is nothing but plate A and plate B, there will be a change in the value of capacitance also. So in order to have that change, I am representing the value of deflection torque as what? Half into V square into dC by dx. This is the expression for what? Deflection torque. Let me name this equation as what? Equation number 1. Equation number 1. Now you need to produce one more force. What is that? Controlling force or controlling torque. In order to produce the controlling force in this electrostatic voltmeter, I am using spring. I am using spring. That is, I am using a spring control method to control the position here. To control the position of a pointer in case of this device. In case of this device. The general expression for controlling torque by using the spring is given as what? Tc equal to Kc into theta, where theta is the deflection of a pointer and Kc is nothing but it is considered as a spring constant. It is considered as spring constant. Let me name that this is equation number 2. This is equation number 2. At steady state condition, that is at an equilibrium. At an equilibrium, deflection torque produced will be equal to controlling torque. Deflection torque produced will be equal to controlling torque. Now substitute the expressions 1 and 2 in this, where the value of deflection torque is given as what? Half into V square into dC by dx, which is equal to what? Kc into theta. From this expression, the value of theta is written as what? 1 by 2 into V square by Kc into dC by dx. I am writing the expression finally for deflection of a pointer. I am writing the expression for what? Deflection of a pointer, where the value of deflection is given as half into V square by Kc into dC by dx. You see here, from this expression what I have obtained, I am writing the relation between theta and voltage, where theta is directly proportional to what? V square. Where theta is directly proportional to what? V square. That is, the deflection of a pointer is directly proportional to the square of the voltage. The deflection of a pointer is directly proportional to what? Square of the voltage. So, due to that reason, the scale of the electrostatic voltmeters is non-uniform. The scale of the electrostatic voltmeters is what? Non-uniform. Why? Because the deflection of a pointer is directly proportional to the square of the voltage. Hence, the scale is non-uniform. The scale is non-uniform. This is regarding electrostatic voltmeters. This is regarding electrostatic voltmeters. What is the main reason to have an electrostatic voltmeters? It is mainly used to measure what? High voltages. And what principle is used here? Capacitance effect. That is nothing but static electric field and springs are used to produce the torques. Static electric field is used to produce what? Deflection torque. Spring is used to produce controlling torque. and at an equilibrium state or at steady state condition, I have produced the expression for deflection of a pointer, which is directly proportional to what? Square of voltage. Due to as the deflection of pointer is proportional to the square of the voltage, the scale of the electrostatic voltmeter is non-uniform in nature. Now we move into the next topic, that is extension range of electrostatic voltmeters. Extension range of electrostatic voltmeters. In the previous topic, we have discussed about how to extend the range of an ammeter and how to extend the range of a voltmeter. So we have got a circuit diagram. We have derived the expressions for resistance offered by the series element and shunt element in case of both extension range of ammeter and voltmeter here. Similarly, we are going to discuss about what? Extension range of electrostatic voltmeters. Extension range of electrostatic voltmeters. It has two methods. So I can extend the range of electrostatic voltmeters by using two methods. The first one is resistance potential divider circuit. The first one is resistance potential divider circuit, and the second one is capacitance method. And the second one is capacitance method. That is, in order to extend the range of an electrostatic voltmeter, I am using two methods. The first method is resistance potential divider method, and the second one is capacitance method. First, we will discuss about the resistance potential divider method. Resistance potential divider method. Now, first we will have a circuit diagram representation of this method. I am using a resistance. Let me say that the resistance offered by this element is nothing but small r. Resistance offered by this element is considered as small r, and the voltage supplied to this element is given as what? V. As I am going to extend the range of an electrostatic voltmeter, I am connecting an electrostatic voltmeter here. This is nothing but capacitance of an electrostatic voltmeter. Let me say that this is C. Capacitance of an electrostatic voltmeter. It is as it is a potential divider circuit, I can connect this capacitance at any one of the studs of this particular resistance. So I am connecting here. Let me say that resistance offered by this area is nothing but R. Then what will be the resistance offered by this material? Total resistance is R. This is small r. It can be considered as R minus R. So this is the circuit diagram representation of a resistance potential divider method, which is used to extend the range of an what? Electrostatic voltmeter. Electrostatic voltmeter, where the resistance offered by the total element is considered as small r. This is nothing but capacitance of what? Electrostatic voltmeter, and the supply voltage is given as V. Supply voltage is given as V. This is the general circuit diagram representation. Based upon this, the multiplying factor for this is considered as what? R equal to CV, that is nothing but VV by V. Voltage of the electrostatic voltmeter by voltage, that is nothing but multiplying factor, which is given as M. Which is given as M. Voltage measured with respect to the full scale deflection value of what? Electrostatic voltmeter. Electrostatic voltmeter. What is the main reason to have an electrostatic voltmeter? To measure high voltages. But this resistance potential divider method is not able to measure high voltages. This is the basic disadvantage of this. It is not used to measure. It cannot measure high voltages. It cannot measure high voltages. And one more disadvantage is nothing but cost is high. Cost is high, and the losses produced in this method is also high. The main reason is nothing but this is the circuit diagram to extend the range of an electrostatic voltmeter by using resistance potential divider circuit. But it has certain disadvantages. The first disadvantage is it cannot be used to measure high voltages. High voltage because there will be certain drop across the resistor element what is connected in the circuit, and the cost of this method will be somewhat high when compared to the other methods, and it consists of high losses. So in order to compensate these disadvantages, we have one more method, and the general method which is used to extend the range of an electrostatic voltmeter is capacitance method. In order to overcome the disadvantages of a resistance potential divider circuit, I am using a capacitance method. Now let us see the circuit diagram of it. This is the general capacitance, and this is nothing but capacitance of an electrostatic voltmeter. This is the general capacitance, and this is the capacitance of what? Electrostatic voltmeter. I am giving some amount of supply voltage. This is the circuit diagram representation of a capacitance method which is used to extend the range of an electrostatic voltmeter. Here, this is electrostatic capacitance which is given as what? CV, and this is nothing but the capacitance offered by a small element. And the multiplying factor here is given as what? C into CV by C plus CV in the form of an capacitance. Sorry, this is not the expression for multiplying factor. This is the total capacitance value which is offered by this circuit. That is nothing but as two capacitors are connected in series, what should be the value of total capacitance? C into CV by C plus CV, and the multiplying factor is considered as V by VB. Voltage measured by full scale deflection value of the electrostatic voltmeter. The resistance offered, the capacitance which is offered by the normal capacitance, it should be high. So if I want to use this method as a extension range method for an electrostatic voltmeter, the capacitance offered by the element which is connected in the circuit should be somewhat high when compared with the capacitance offered by an electrostatic voltmeter which is connected in the circuit. So these are the methods which are used to extend the range of an electrostatic voltmeter. So these are the things what we have discussed regarding electrostatic voltmeter, that is construction, working principle, expression for deflection of a pointer, and how to extend the range of an electrostatic voltmeter,